Hey, Noodle Nick here. So I wanted to go over every single gun and which ones are good and which ones are bad. And I'll be rating them on a tier list here. So I hope you enjoy. First things first, we're gonna try out the MG. The MG is kind of like a bull-up rifle. It takes a second to charge up, but once it gets going, it's pretty powerful. I've never picked up one of these in game before, I don't think. If you do manage to get your hands on one, it's pretty powerful. Especially if you can combat the recoil. The Rhino. The Rhino seems very inconsistent with its damage. Seems like it'll give you a different number each time. It's like an anti-vehicle rocket. It's pretty nice. I use it I used it a lot more back when it didn't take up one of your inventory slots. It used to add an extra inventory slot down there at the bottom, and then you'd have 3 weapons. It doesn't do that anymore. It takes up one of your inventory slots, which is super annoying. Be putting the Rhino. We're going to give the Rhino a C only because of the fact that it doesn't take up, or it takes up one of your inventory slots now, which is annoying. Other than that, I used to like it. The MG, we're going to put that down here at an E because you can never find it in game, but even if you can, you'd be better off with the versatility of an assault rifle or an SMG, in my opinion. Okay, on to the next 2 weapons. We have 2 snipers, the Bar 95. This Bar 95, I stuck an 8 times on there. Okay, so that was the Stellar Wind. Stellar Wind is an S tier weapon if I've ever had one. No, realistically, it's an A. It's not the best sniper rifle, but it's a very nice spray weapon. The bar is an S tier, 100%. And let me tell you why, because it is a high skill, high reward, high risk, high reward weapon. Very nice thing to have in your inventory if you can use it correctly. It could be devastating, for real. Okay, next up we have the Defender and the White Dwarf. The Defender is a very good sniper. They gave it a huge buff with this new update, and I'm loving it. We have the White Dwarf. Very nice up close. Good hip fire. Not very good aim down sight. Does not have very good range at all, but up close it dominates. If you can get a good little spray on them right up close, then you're good to go. You got the MF-18, which is a triple burst SMG. Pretty decent. I never really use it. I'm not a big fan of triple burst. You know, that's just personal preference. The Defender. I would give the Defender, I would say it's a B. It used to be a lot worse. It used to be a D for me, but now it's a B with all the buffs or whatever. And the White Dwarf. The White Dwarf is an A tier weapon. Good little SMG. Prefer the UMP, but if you can't find one, White Dwarf's a solid substitute. Up next we have the UMP and the Mad Rabbit. The UMP, you guys obviously know, is my favorite weapon and one of the best guns in the game, period. Definitely the best SMG out of all of these. Hands down. Has very good range, almost no recoil. Versatile, not high damage, but it'll get her done up close, just like the White Dwarf. Got 220 damage, 1 clip. To the head. 240 damage up close. Mad Rabbit. Mad Rabbit I don't usually use, but this is what they give you when you respawn. This is probably one of the worst guns in the game, but if you can manage to get this little 2 times on it, it's not bad. This is the red 2 times. Anything else with this gun is not really usable in my opinion. But believe it or not, the Mad Rabbit has really good range. I would say highest in-class range. I could be wrong, but it definitely feels that way. So the UMP is S tier. I don't even have to think about that. I don't even have to think about that at all. And the Mad Rabbit is D because I would never use it. You're always going to die with it in your hand. The only reason I use one is because I haven't found a gun that I actually like, so. Okay, next up we have the last SMG, which is the Uzi, and don't worry, I saved the worst for last because that Uzi is a complete piece of absolute hot garbage. Don't ever scope in with the Uzi, it is a complete waste of time. But if you can get up close, like with most SMGs, you can get up close and hip fire. There's 165 at about 10 feet, 20 feet. It's just not very good scoped in. It's pretty crazy all over the place. Okay. And then we have the first shotgun. Got the Hound, which does more damage when you're scoped in. 132 to the head. Up close. Ooh, even hip fire actually. I would give the Hound, out of the 2 shotguns, I would say the Hound is not the one I would choose, just because it takes so long to cock out the next round, especially when you're fighting for it and you need some firepower. The Hound is not your friend, so I would just go ahead and put that straight in. We'll do E, because I would still use it occasionally, but it's definitely not my favorite. It's a good early game weapon, that's about it. The Uzi, like I said, is a hot pile of garbage going straight into F. Never use it. It's should be completely removed from the game. It's awful. Okay. Okay, so the Fanatic is the second shotgun. Definitely better than the Hound in my opinion, just because you can get more shots off quickly. The Mad Rat, not a big fan. It's a nice triple burst little you know, pick away at them from far away. It's definitely an early game gun. I'm not huge on the Mad Rat. I don't think it's very good. There's a Mad Rat. I'll go ahead and give that an E because it can withstand some, you know, it can hold its own, but I wouldn't really ever use it, but I wouldn't give it it's not the worst gun. I wouldn't give it an F. And the Fanatic, I'm going to go ahead and give the Fanatic an A. I'm a big fan of the Fanatic. I love it. If I was going to pick a shotgun, this one would be it. I do like the M4 because you can add a lot of attachments to it. Other than that, range-wise, it's a little rough. It's better medium range. The VSS is kind of a sad excuse of a sniper. I would use the VSS even less than the Rhino or the MG. The VSS is a complete waste of an inventory slot. It's just not good. It's just straight up, if you're going to use something long range, then use a bar or stellar wind. Use a real sniper. Don't use the VSS. Practice with it every once in a while because maybe it'll save your life in a pinch, but don't ever take this into the end game. VSS is a big fat F. And the M4 is a D. I'm not a big fan of the M4. It is useful in certain situations, but if you're going to use an assault rifle, I'd probably use like a, you know, maybe a Jupiter. Definitely not the M4. Not the Mad Rat either. Next up, we have the AK-77 and the generator. The AK-77 is high damage but very high recoil, so it's useful, you know, if you're good at controlling recoil, otherwise not so much. The generator is one of my go-to assault rifles. I'm a big fan of it. Not really much else to say. You know, if you want something basically like the Jupiter, but that has a little bit better range, then pick the generator. So the generator, I would give a B. It's usable. And the AK-77, I would give a B as well, because it's also usable, but I'm not a big fan of it. I don't ever really use it. Okay, next up we have the Porcupine and the Invader. The Porcupine is a slow-firing, longer range assault rifle. I've always loved the Porcupine since I first started playing this game, but it's definitely not the meta. The Invader is a single shot, single fire, semi-automatic assault rifle, little laser rifle. Pretty decent damage per shot. Looks like 24 per shot to the chest. 36 to the head. Not a bad little gun at all. I've actually been using the Invader more, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and put it up there with the A. Huge fan. Definitely like the Invader lately. Not so much before, but definitely now. And the Porcupine, I'm gonna have to make that an S tier. If you can get, actually, no, I wouldn't. I'm sorry, I can't. That's also an A, especially if you can get a 4x on it. You could use it to pick at people long range. It's pretty fun. Maybe, I guess I didn't rate the MF-18. The MF-18, that's F tier straight up. Horrible gun. And last but certainly not least is the Jupiter. Still the best weapon in the game, hands down. If you can get your hands on this, it's a lot harder to find now. They decreased the scatter rate, or the like the spawn rate of it. But if you can get your hands on this thing, it dominates. I love it. It's my favorite gun in the game. Especially with a 1x or a 4x. The Jupiter with a 4x is out of this world. You could use that instead of a sniper, honestly. Extremely accurate. And the Jupiter is, of course, you should already know, the S tier. And this is where we're at. That's the final standings. That's all the guns. I don't believe I've missed any. If I have, please let me know down in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little, you know, my thoughts on the guns in the game. If you disagree or agree, let me know down in the comments. I'll greatly appreciate it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't yet and you've watched a bunch of my videos and you haven't yet. Please subscribe. I'll put a graph right here. Here's the graph. Take a look at the graph. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.